are school policies? Educational policies are rules that are intended to help school teach students efficiently, fairly, and safely as per the regulatory norms. The board to which the institution is affiliated. These terms determine how students are taught, what they are taught, and how schools manage students and its personnel.
Have a good day, classmates, especially to Ma'am Minchelin. This is Merville G. Abilanosa, Section 1M26 from Baongon Bukidnon Cluster, and the assigned topic to me was all about the 5 policies. School policies. First is attendance policy. Attendance policy is just about avoiding absences. They're about developing consistency, responsibility, and preparing us for a real world expectations. Being present matters not just about physically but also in mentally.
According to RA 10627, schools have to make bullying prevention and anti bullying education a priority.
Anti-bullying policy helps to create a safe and respectful learning space. Everyone deserves to feel secure and valued, especially in school. Let's be part of the positive change. So bakit kaya importante ang polisiyang ito? This policy was important dahil walang estudyante na nakakaramdam ng takot na pumasok sa paralan dahil lamang sa bully. Kaya ang palisiyang ito ay nakakatulong upang protektahan tayong lahat na mga estudyante sa ating mental health.
Dress code policy. Students have their own unique way of dressing, but when it comes to school, there are certain rules and restrictions.
The next policy is the dress code policy. Explanation. So dress code policy promotes discipline, equality, and focus. While we value personal style, this called environmental need guidelines that reflects respect and the personal needs. So para sa akin, kadalasan talaga sa mga estudyante na para sa kanila, ang pagsuot ng uniform ay boring kadalasan sa mga estudyante. Ngayon ay nagsusuot na ng mga crop tops imbis na uniform. Kaya ang palisiyang ito sa paralan ay mahalaga. Because it reminds us that we're all equal and matatawag talaga tayong estudyante sa ating paralan.
Child protection policy refers to programs, services, procedures, and structures that are intended to prevent and respond to abuse, neglect, exploitation, discrimination, and violence.
School policy, the Child Protection Policy explanation. This policy ensures that every child feels protected from harm. It's more than safety, it's about dignity and care for each other. Student dito, pinapatawatig ang ating kaligtasan at protection.
Health and safety policy, prevention and preparation for reducing the risk of accidents and emergencies and minimizing harms when they do happen.
5 school policy, the health and safety policy. In conclusion, this policy prepares schools to prevent accident and deal with emergencies. Health and safety should always come first because when we're healthy and safe, we learn better. Ang palisiyang ito ay kinakailangan talaga sa paralang lalo-lalo na sa panahon ngayon na maraming kabataan ang minsan pati sarili nilang guro ay kinipunan ng mga gamit. May mga estudyante rin na nadadala ng mga weapons na matulis kaya ang palisiyang ito ay nagpapahiwatig na ang ating proteksyon at kaligtasan. So ayun lang ang topic ko and let's move to the next supporter will be Jonald Ibawa. Thank you, ma'am.
Classmates, and have a good day, ma'am. Minshilin. This is Journal E. Bawa Section 1E26 from Baongon Bukidnon Cluster, and I will be continuing the 5 school policies and their functions. So starts with primary curriculum policy. Explanation. The primary curriculum policy ensure that younger students get a well-rounded education, discovering their talents and gaining a solid foundation for future learning. Next is the primary personal development policy. Explanation. Their policy helps young learners to grow not just academically but emotionally and socially. It shapes confident, kind, and responsible individuals o dahil hindi ito nagbabase sa libro, it's about building our character. Is the eighth school policy, the secondary curriculum policy. Explanation in conclusion, secondary curriculum policies help students become more independent, knowledgeable, and future ready. It passes them to think critically and grow into responsible adults. Let's move the ninth school policy, the secondary personal development policy. Explanation. So this policy focuses on helping older students manage emotion, make decisions, and build meaning relationships. It equips us for life beyond the classroom. Para sa akin, life skill matter. Halimbawa na lamang ng math at science na subject ay isang importante sa buhay natin. And of course, lastly, the 10th school policy, the behavior policy. Explanation. Behavior policy can help us to promote respect and responsibility. When we have we create a community where everyone can thrive. So that all would be my topic. That thank you for listening, and the next slide would be reported with Arimi Bawa.
Hello and have a pleasant day each and everyone, lalong-lalo na po sa iyo, Ma'am Minchelin. This is Ain May A. Bawa, Section 1A26 from Baongon, Bukidnon Cluster. So I was assigned to present the other school policies and started with the cell phone policy. This policy sets rules about when and how students can use mobile phones inside school premises. These rules would be absolutely needed in our school dahil ang paggamit ng cellphone sa paaralan ay pinagbabawal ng mga guro. Lalong-lalo na kung ikaw ay gumagamit na walang pahintulot sa inyong guro dahil maaari lamang gamitin ang cellphone sa paaralan kung ikaw ay pinayagan ng inyong guro at kung ito ay isang emergency. It matters to avoid distractions during lesson, promote face-to-face communication, and maintain classroom focus. It also protects against misuse like cheating or taking videos without permissions. Respect policy. This policy promotes a culture of mutual respect among students, teachers, and staff. Ang palisiyang ito ay kung iisipin natin, hindi lang ito sa paaralan kailangan kundi sa pang-araw-araw. Pero kung nasa paaralan tayo, maaaring panatilihin ang pagrespeto, use polite language, and listen when someone is speaking. So why it matters? Respect builds a positive school environment where everyone feels safe, valued, and encouraged to learn and express themselves. Let's proceed to the third school policies. The student code of conduct, a document or set of rules that outlines how students are expected to behave in school. So how this policy would be applied? This may include rules about honesty, attendance, wearing the correct uniform, and behavior in class or online. Ang palisiyang ito ay nagtuturo sa mga estudyante to act and be responsible and represent the school well inside and outside of the campus. Fourth, student discipline policy. This outlines the consequences of violating school rules and the process of correcting unacceptable behavior. Ang palisiyang ito ay para sa mga estudyanteng hindi nakikinig sa mga guro at inuulit-ulit ang mga kasalanan na nagawa sa loob ng paaralan. Kaya dapat bigyan ng aral ang mga mag-aaral na ginagawa ang mga ito, kagaya lamang ng include detention, parent-teacher meetings, suspensions, or community service tasks. Depende sa nagawa niyang kasalanan sa paaralan, dahil ang pagdidisiplina ang hindi masama. Bakit nga ba importante ito? Because fighting disrupts the peace of and safety of school. This policy ensures that conflicts are resolved in respectful and non-violent ways. And lastly is the substitute policy. This outlines what students should do when the regular teacher is absent and a substitute teacher is in charge. Dapat kahit na wala ang guro sa paaralan at may ibang subjects na nagtuturo sa mag-aaral, dapat iparamdam at ipakita natin sa kanila ang pagrespeto at paggalang sa ating mga substitute teachers. Na dahil kung wala sila, ay wala rin tayong matutunan. Why it matters? Because it keeps that learning process continuous even when the usual teachers isn't around, and it shows respect for all educators. So that's all for today, and again, this is Iron May Ibawa, and thank you for watching and listening this video. I hope you learned something.
Hello everyone, to Ma'am and to my fellow classmates. I am the fourth reporter in our group. This is Blessing Marie Alpacolor speaking. I will be discussing to all of you the roles and competencies of school heads. So by experience, I am a daughter of Dr. Education Principal, and he's already retired. He is Dr. Rene Pacolor. So let me share to all of you the role of school head. What is school head? School head is responsible for the effective general management of the school, for ensuring the provision of academic leadership and strategic vision for the quality of the student experience. So the school heads, they are the ones who lead and oversee in management and as an admin, where he or she leads and has that strategic vision that every student in that school must have that quality education. So there are two types of leadership. So it could be first, instructional, or secondly, administrative. The instructional is supervises instruction by observing teachers while they teach, conducting post-observation conference with individual teachers, mentoring and coaching them, ensuring that teachers have the needed resources for teaching. And the other leadership that the school head executes is an administrative one, which concerns the physical improvement and fund sourcing, spends more time in soliciting funds for a flagpole, a stage, a classroom, path, walk, waiting shed, etc., leaving no time for instructional provision. So my father, he is school head in Lika High School, Menapan High School, and the last school that he is a school head is in Cabacan High School. So my father is, I observe, aside that he is observing teachers, but more that the role of my father, Dr. Rene Pacolor, is in an administrative type of leadership, because he's more on focusing on physical improvement. Like in Lika High School, he had a project of rebuilding or reconstruction of the school gate in Lika High School, and also in Cabacan High School. I can remember during his retirement, his retirement program was held in the stage and the new covered court that his legacy as a principal during his time. So, types of leadership, there's a saying here, the more important concern is improvement of instruction, as this has a direct bearing on learning. So, in competency in national competency-based standards for school heads during 2010, and Southeast Asian School Heads 2014 edition. This is the reference. So, according to National Competency-Based Standards for School Heads during 2010, it talks about domains and competency strands. Number 1, school leadership. Number 2, instructional leadership. Number 3, creating a student-centered learning climate. Number 4, HR management and professional development. So here's the competency where the school heads must follow the standards when it comes to school leadership, how they instruct, how they create centered learnings climate, and HR management, and maintain that professionalism through professional development. Number 5, parent involvement and community partnership. Number 6, school management and operations. Number 7, personal and professional attributes and interpersonal effectiveness. So the school head, parts of its standard, parents must have that involvement in their partnership in the community, and the principal must have that good management in schools and have project operations. And number 7, they must have that attributes to maintain as a personal school head, maintain that professional and personal good attributes, and has that good interpersonal effectiveness. So in conclusion, as a school heads, these domains prove that leadership goes beyond the classroom. So school heads also need to connect with parents, manage school resources, and lead by example in behavior and professionalism. I can remember that my father as a school head, aside that he is into projects, building projects, he is assuring himself that he has that good relationship with the PTA, Parents Teachers Association, the parents, whatever the school resources that he receives from the alumni, alumnus, or whosoever that the former graduates of the high school in that level. He lead by example in behavior and professionalism. It's very important as a school principal. You must have that integrity. So my father, I am so proud of him. There was a time that he was tested, that there is fund that's supposed to be yung hahatiin ng mga principal. There's that kind of instance before. But my father stood his integrity that he will not and he must not involve, because there's a big fund which is that remains, and there were corrupt principals that they want nahatian, but my father had that integrity that hindi siya gusto ma-involve. So there was a time that he was there are some school heads that who got angry of him because he exposed that kind of anomaly. So as a school principal, it's important not just to have that position as an educator, not just as a doctor of education, whatever doctorate or degree or masters that they attain. As a school head in the future, some of you students will become future school heads. It's very important that you must have that good life example and behavior and professionalism. So thank you so much, ma'am. God bless to everyone. Good day.
Have a good day, everyone. My name is Jeannie B. Obshama from Section 1A26, and this is my report. It's all about Southeast Asian School Heads Competency Framework 2014 edition, focusing on the 3 domains and their respective strands. Number 1, stakeholder engagement. This domain focuses on how school leaders build strong relationships with the school community and other partners. It highlights collaboration, partnership, and good management of people and resources. Strands and explanation. Number 1, promoting shared responsibility. Involve parents, teachers, students, and the community in decision-making and school improvement activities. Number 2, managing education alliances and network. Build partnerships with other school agencies, organizations, and local government units to improve educational services. Note, this is listed twice but only needs to be mentioned once. Number 3, sustaining collaborative relationships. Maintain strong and long-term relationships with stakeholders by promoting open communication and trust. Number 4, managing staff performance. Guide and evaluate teachers and staff to help them do their best work and contribute to the school's success. Number 5, managing school resources and systems. Ensure that school facilities, budgets, materials, and operations are used wisely and effectively. Number 6, managing sustainable school programs and projects. Lead school initiatives that are long-lasting and make a real impact on student learning and school improvement. Number 7, managing sustainable school programs and subjects. Managing school programs and community partnerships that last over time. This competency refers to a school leader's ability to plan, implement, and maintain programs or projects that continue to benefit the school long term. This may include academic, health, environmental, or community-based programs. It's not just about starting a program. It's about making sure it works well, involves others, and lasts beyond a single school year. And the second domain is instructional leadership. This domain is about leading the teaching and learning process. It ensures that leaders focus on helping teachers teach better and students learn more effectively. Strengths and explanation. Number 1, leading curriculum implementation and improvement. Make sure that the school curriculum is properly applied, regularly reviewed, and updated to meet student needs. Number 2, creating a learner-centered environment. Ensure that classrooms and activities are focused on students' needs, interests, and learning styles. Number 3, supervising and evaluating teachers' performance. Observe teaching practices and give feedback to help teachers grow professionally. Number 4, delivering planned learning outcomes. Ensure that students meet academic goals by aligning lessons and assessments and resources effectively. And number 3 domain. The personal excellence. Personal excellence. This domain highlights the personal and professional qualities a school head must develop to lead effectively. It emphasizes self-leadership, growth, and resilience. Strand and explanation. Number 1, managing personal effectiveness. Be organized, disciplined, and emotional intelligent. Use time and energy well to achieve school goals. Number 2, acting on challenges and possibilities. Be proactive in solving problems and seizing opportunities that will benefit the school. Number 3, pursuing continuous professional development. Always seek to learn and grow professionally through training, seminars, further studies, or self-reflection.